About a week ago at Gamescom, we got our first proper look at Dragon Age 4, and it was really, really impressive. So I thought first what we'd do is look back at the original teaser in 2018 and kind of see what you get from that. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about basically what we saw in that Dragon Age 4 teaser and everything that was built up throughout Dragon Age Inquisition, and especially in the Trespasser DLC. We obviously know a lot of kind of the Red Lyrium side, and Solas kind of being one of the main antagonists inside of the fourth game. But this video isn't going to be a kind of deep dive on what we can expect completely. It will just be the few things that I've picked up myself from my knowledge on the Dragon Age universe. And the main angle that this video is going to kind of lean towards is the stuff that, personally, from what I've enjoyed in the previous games, that I'd like to see kind of be worked on, or just see in the first place in Dragon Age 4. So the first thing that I'm hoping to kind of see, and I'm pretty sure we will, is kind of a diverse set of locations. Because from what we've been teased and pretty much what we've seen in the latest teaser, we know that the game's going to be set in Northern Thedas, around Tevinter, possibly with hints of Antiva and the Anderfels, maybe even Navarra, as we do get a lot of different shots of beautiful locations. Even though they are all concept art, they are really nice to see. There's a mix of kind of large cities, some which are caves, some taigs, and even some Grey Warden locations which could possibly be Weissout in the Anderfels, or some other Grey Warden location. As we know, the Grey Wardens are going to make an appearance, just because the bits of gameplay they showed off clearly showed off a Grey Warden fighter, some of the concept art has pieces, and they've even shown off a voice actor playing a character called Davrius who clearly says for the Wardens. But as the game is very likely to have many Tevinter locations, I hope the kind of high use of magic in these areas does get shown off to the best of its ability. And if we do get Antivan areas, hopefully we get to see like the crows and their kind of more criminal sides show off in a really nice and awesome way. The second thing I'm kind of hoping that Dragon Age 4 has is multiple prologues and endings, because one of my favourite features of Dragon Age Origins was that you'd have a different beginning depending on your race and your kind of class, and that's really interesting to have these multiple different ways of playing the game, and really gives it replayability. And as Dragon Age Inquisition ended with the Inquisitor having to make that choice of either deciding if he was going to redeem Solas or just tell him that, listen mate, I'm coming to kill you, it'd be really interesting to actually kind of see if there's an ending where Solas is redeemed and how different it plays off to if Solas just gets executed by the Inquisition or something like that. I mean, just imagine how cool it would be if there was an opening where you started in Ferelden, you noticed all the Red Lyrium kind of coming everywhere, and you flee to Tevinter, and you're already a part of the Inquisition as a smaller member, and you kind of rise up through the ranks. Or perhaps you're one of the Dalish elves who is actually already part of the Dreadwolves organisation, and you realise how you don't like the ideas of his plans, and that you're actually quite good friends with other races, and you decide to kind of go against him, and you have this kind of early interaction with Solas where he sees you as this weak figure, and by the end of the game he sees you again, and depending on whether the Inquisitions decide to redeem or execute him and your personal opinions, it has so many different interactions which can be really interesting. The next thing I'm really hoping to see is plenty of returning characters from previous games, especially those ones who have the options to die in previous games or to have different outcomes in the epilogues of those games, so you can see different versions of them depending on what you've got in your Dragon Age keep. For instance, what I really liked in Dragon Age 2 was in the third act, when you could meet Zevran and Nathaniel, people who you could have decided to kill in the previous game, and it's just really nice that you get these quests with them as well, and you get to kind of spend more time with these characters. As even though it's really nice to kind of see them again, I don't think it's the best to have them as followers all the time, because like say with Varric, it was really nice to see him in Inquisition, but he just didn't feel as impactful as a follower as he did in Dragon Age 2. And it's really nice to kind of give that spotlight to new characters who we get to love and enjoy just as much as those old ones. And I assure you I'm not just saying this because I may or may not have sold Fenris back to Tevinter and want to bump into him again. The next thing I'd really like to see again is subclasses or specializations, as I really like that ability of choosing my original class, then being able to kind of get that slight bit of specialization which made my character unique. And I'd really liked it in Origins as well, where when you got to a high enough level you could actually subclass again. So that ability of, say, having or 3 or 4 subclasses would be really nice for each kind of class. And as someone who usually goes mage, I'd love to be able to kind of actually have a useful druid class and maybe go really leaning into necromancy with the conjuration side as well, of resurrecting corpses or summoning weapons. And it'd be really interesting to see how far they could take it. And something I noticed is that there's a woman in a bit of a stealth picture where she's holding a crossbow, which I find really cool, and means that we could have multiple followers of crossbows this time and have them be more of a common weapon. Another thing that I'm hoping for, and we'll probably get, is a set of very interesting companions, because BioWare usually does this incredibly well, but there's always one or two that just fall a bit flat. Like, for instance, Wynn in Origins was just a bit dull. There wasn't really too much to her. I was not a fan of Fenris in Dragon Age 2, I will be honest. I know a lot of people are, but he just wasn't my kind of person. And Vivienne didn't really seem to have that much intrigue, and it would have been much more exciting if we had a few more personal quests to get to learn about those characters. Obviously everyone had their own personal quest, at least in Inquisition, but it'd be much nicer to have like a full set of a few quests where we get to know them and see them develop fully. And with the diverse cultures in the north, there's so much potential here for lots of different kind of characters, personality-wise, background-wise, and it'd be really nice to see their combat styles and their dialogue affect, well, what they're like just because of who they've been with and what they've seen in the past. One of the most important things as well, I think, would be impactful choices, and we do have a few quotes from the video. And that quote is, "Decision making can mean that a party member lives or a party member dies, and it means owning your outcome and reactivity to the choices that you do make." And part of me hopes this means that your followers can die at points when you don't want them to, because I like it when something happens and you kind of really regret it happening, but because of things that you've done in the past, it's become inevitable. Like, for instance, in Dragon Age 2, my first ever playthrough, I went down into the deep roads with Carver and without Anders, and well, Carver died, and because I didn't know anything about the game, I didn't know that if I brought Anders he would become a Grey Warden, or if I just left him he would become a Templar. And it's having that thing where I had to just put up with this choice that I got my brother killed in game. It was really cool, but also quite upsetting. And the only example of that in Inquisition is with the Iron Bull in the Trespasser DLC, which is so far towards the end of the game that it doesn't really matter. And I mean, I know it's still a character's death and betrayal, which is really cool, but it'd be nice if it could also happen much earlier in the game and make you realise, oh crap, I've just lost one of the few mages I can get in this game. It would also be nice if some of the supporting characters / returning characters also have this vulnerability. So for instance, let's say we do bump into Dorian again, and we forget to kind of give him a guardsman one night outside of his kind of room in wherever he's living. An assassin might sneak in and kill him, and it's that thought of that we forgot to protect him led to his demise and is now going to affect later situations with the Imperium. And these choices might even lead to us having a negative reputation with certain areas or factions, meaning those factions might kind of have much more aggressive dialogue with us later in the game, or just attack us on sight. And the final thing I'd like to see, which I doubt most people would want to see, is actually a chance to lose the game or just join Solas. So with a lot of games these days, it's always the fact of, no matter how bad it looks, you know, and in the end, you're the hero, you're going to win. And another one of their quotes: "For the next game that we're working on now, we want to tell a story. What happens when you don't have power? What happens when the people in charge aren't willing to address the issues?" And I think a really thematically powerful way of showing this off would be if there were endings where Tevinter gets destroyed, or your character dies at the end, or most of the followers die, and you do get this slight win, but it costs so much your character doesn't really know what to do anymore. And obviously I'm not saying I want all the endings to be negative, but it'd be nice if there were endings like that, or maybe ones where you're a Dalish elf and Solas kind of talks you into destroying this world because it's the correct thing to do and you actually understand his point of view and join him. Again, bringing up another game where this does it really well, The Witcher 3. One of the endings, Geralt dies, and that was the first ending I ever got in the game, and it completely broke me as a person for like a couple days. So it would be really nice if this game also had an ending like that, and makes you feel like you're not always in control truly. And with that really upsetting point, I'm going to end the video there. I haven't actually done any videos on Dragon Age on my channel, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you want to see more videos a bit like this, let me know in the comments. And what are you looking forward to most in Dragon Age 4? I'm really interested to know all your guys' ideas. And if you did enjoy this, subscribing means a lot to me. And hopefully I'll see you next time.